Hey everybody, and welcome back to more KOTOR 2. We have awoken from our Kolto tank here, and we are now playing as Sean Moran, our player character. Let's take a look at him here. We don't really have anything to equip. We just have our underwear to wear. We don't have any weapons or anything, so that's a bummer. We don't have any orientation either. We're currently neutral, neither light nor dark side, which I suppose is natural. And we're just at level 1. And we can see here the skills that we had assigned earlier. Our party selection screen and our journal. And here we have a bonus mission. Recent history, Peragus 2. You've awakened in a medical bay in an unknown facility. The last thing you remember is being a passenger on the Republic capital ship, the Harbinger. You should find out where you are and how you got here. That we do plan to do. Even though this is a bonus mission, I think it's a really interesting mission because you get to find out more about the history of your character, because we don't really know anything about where we've been. We're just kind of starting off and we have no idea exactly where we've been before or anything else. Immersion in Kolto tanks can heal most wounds. If you have lost vitality points during your explorations, return here to the medical bay and use the empty Kolto tank behind you to heal your wounds. So yes, if you ever want to get healed and you don't have any med packs, you can always come back here and use the tank that we came out of, even though I thought we would have broken the glass. I guess we didn't break the glass, but we can use that tank to heal up. But thankfully we have all our VP, or vitality points, intact, so let's move onward. Morgue door. Oh, impossible to crack. Okay. Damage door. I don't like the look of that. I think I'm going to save that for a little bit. And again, it talks about bashing here, so we already know how to do that. Let's go through this door. One thing that I forgot to mention in the last video is that I'm doing this Let's Play in parts, not only just because of the big update that this game came with here recently, but also because of the release of Star Wars Episode 7. I really want to do something to tie in the channel with that. So I'm going to be playing a few Star Wars games. This was a definite yes as far as which ones I was going to be playing. So stay tuned to find out which other ones I'll be doing next. Medical computer. Peragus Medical Bay console. Emergency lockdown. Enter command. Why is this place on emergency lockdown? Medical logs. Well, maybe this will help. These logs appear to be from the farthest away to the most recent, so let's go in that order.
Still examining the survivors of the damaged freighter. Looks like it goes by the name of the Ebon Hawk. Only one survivor, placed in the Kolto tank for recovery. The carbon scoring on the vessel suggests it was in a battle, but no indication of who fired on it. Couldn't get much from the Nava computer. I'm surprised the ship was able to make it inside the Peragus asteroid field without the asteroid drift charts. Aside from the lone survivor, we recovered an old woman. No life signs. There was also a protocol droid and a utility droid on board. Sent both down to maintenance while security sorts through the other items on the ship. It looks like the utility droid, a T3 unit, was able to get the ship working enough to get to the colony. We're prepared to...
Interesting. Yeah, one thing you'll notice about these logs is they kind of get cut off at the end, and in a lot of these cases there really isn't much of an explanation for that. But based on what we just heard there, it seems like we've actually been here for at least 3 days. So I wonder what's been going on here.
Could be a Jedi, but we won't know for sure until we get the transmission back from the Republic. If the survivor is a Jedi, that would account for the recovery rate. But I'm more concerned that a Jedi here may cause trouble. Some of the miners, especially Korta, are already... Another accident today. A detonation in the ventilation tunnels. If the lockdown measures hadn't activated, the whole facility would have been destroyed. Got most of the injured to the Kolto tanks in time, but the rest had to go to the morgue. One of the wounded said a droid caused the accident, but we couldn't get any specifics.
A droid? That's interesting.
Miners about the Jedi. A number of the droids have been acting oddly, and not even memory wipes seem to be fixing the problem. There was a detonation in another one of the fuel vents the droids were working in. We deactivated several of them, and moved them down to maintenance. But we're still treating the plasma burns. That cuts us down to almost half shifts, and with the droids malfunctioning, we may not make the Telos shipment for this month. Fortunately, the detonation didn't cause a lockdown.
Warning. There has been a fuel detonation in the mining tunnels.
Uh-oh.
Emergency lockdown commencing. All personnel report to quarters and prepare for emergency venting countermeasures.
Venting?
No! If the ventilation systems are malfunctioning, evacuate the medical bay. Everyone evacuate.
That did not sound too good. Let's see here. Patient life signs. We can see the statuses of all the Kolto tanks, and the middle one shows that the patient recovered, and that appears to be the one that corresponds with us. So it seems like the patients in the other 4 tanks are actually dead. Patient treatments. All subjects are being treated for severe plasma burns. Last treatment request resulted in death for all subjects except patient number 3, who is reduced to minimal life signs. Huh. So it seems like somebody administered something that was lethal to everybody, but somehow we managed to survive. Treat injury. A lethal dose of sedatives was administered to all the tanks, including number 3. There is no record of who ordered the treatment. Unfortunately, we can't actually track this treatment request unless we have spikes, so we're going to come back and see that. Medical bay functions. Let's see here. Medical bay camera. We can see the Kolto tank. Morgue camera. It looks like the old woman we saw in the Ebon Hawk is there. We can unlock the door to the morgue. Cool. Alright, so we can go visit the bodies. And we can unlock a storage room. Aha, okay. And let's see, morgue. Oh, wait, we saw that. Medical inventory. It looks like as if a number of medical-based items can be manufactured using the medical workbench next to the terminal, which is that thing. And that's pretty much it. So we got some XP from that. Let's see, can we see our XP? I'm curious. Here we go, 200. So yes, your XP definitely does not carry over from the prologue. Now, this is a little bit different than your standard workbench. This is a lab station, or as the computer put it, a medical workbench. And on lab stations, I'm not really going to go through all these tutorials. Basically, they work in the same way as workbenches as far as the components are concerned. But here, you don't use components, you use chemicals. And we have 2 chemicals so far, if I'm not mistaken. Or wait, no, we have 0 chemicals, but we have 2 of these med packs. So essentially, you can use the workbenches, the lab stations, to create things that have to do with your health or stimulants. And interestingly enough, you can also use chemicals to create mines and grenades. So it's a different set of categories of items. And personally, I'm just going to go ahead and say right up front, I don't really plan to use these very much. Mainly just because a lot of these things we can easily buy. I mean, there may be some things that we may just want to go ahead and make and not spend the money on if we happen to save up enough, but things like med packs and advanced med packs, unless we're just in a really tough bind, I don't really plan on making them too much. And the same goes with stimulants. Like, if you've watched my Let's Play of the first game, then you guys know that I usually forget to use these things. And we're going to get a lot of them anyway, and mines, I typically don't even use these to begin with, and some grenades are okay, but I mean, these are kind of the standard ones, they're not the really good ones, so I'm not really going to worry too much about that either. So I might make some implants, and you can see here that you really need treat injury to make these things. So if you have a high treat injury skill, I want to say that will also affect how many chemicals it costs to build stuff too. So it's a really interesting system, and once again, I don't really remember if you can break items down into chemicals. I don't think you can. I think that's only components you can use the broken items on, but anyway, it's a really interesting system, and it gives everything a rather fascinating use. Many med-based items are based on chemicals, and we got a bunch of chemicals there, so we could go ahead and experiment if we wanted to. I think I'm actually going to use this to create a couple of advanced med packs, just so that we have, oh, we've got 40, oh, okay, so we can make advanced med packs. Okay, well, we can only make 1 med pack, so I'm not really going to worry about that. We got 4 med packs already, I think we're good. The nice thing about this first part of the game is it's not too difficult. It is slow, but it's not too difficult. Here's the old lady here. This old woman looks dead, but there's no sign of what killed her. Plasma torch, huh? Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. I thought you were dead.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead?
I gotta say, I really love how she kind of basically just subverts, you know, this trope in RPGs of going and looting bodies. But her voice definitely sounds familiar. It sounds like the voice that woke us up in the Kolto tank.
Yes, I had hoped as much. I slept here too long and could not awaken. It may be I reached out unconsciously, and your mind must have been a willing one. Or perhaps you have been trained for such things.
So you're getting into our mind?
Close to death. Yes, closer than I'd like. You have the smell of the Kolto tank about you. How do you feel?
I wonder what Kolto tanks smell like.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine. Tell me, do you recall what happened?
Alright, well, nice to meet you, Kreia. So this part of the game is a little awkward because we say things that we as the player may not necessarily know. But the game kind of gives a little bit away through exposition, just a bit at a time. So we do know that we were on board a ship called the Harbinger. Let's see what she says about that.
Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor. A result of your Jedi training, no doubt.
Ah. Now, what the game doesn't exactly tell you right now, but what we'll be finding out later on, is that despite the opening crawl's claims that we're the last of the Jedi, our character is actually not someone who feels like much like a Jedi. And we'll discover more about that here as time goes on.
Your stance, your walk tells me you are a Jedi. Your walk is heavy. You carry something that weighs you down.
Yes, and this troubled history here is something we'll be learning a little bit more about as time goes on.
So it would seem. Keep your past and let us focus on the now.
Alright, well, let's find out what's going on around here, because it seems like something happened here.
I do not know. I was removed from the events of the world as I slept. A survey of the surroundings may provide the answers we seek. The ship we arrived in, the Ebon Hawk, must still be in this place. We should recover it and leave.
The Ebon Hawk. So why do we need to leave right now, though?
We were attacked once, and I fear our attackers will not give up the hunt so easily. Without transport, weapons, and information, they will find us easy prey indeed.
Let's see if we can use our powers of persuasion to check if there's more that she knows.
Even as I slept, I felt much unrest here. I saw strange visions, minds colored with fear. Now, everything here feels terribly silent. A last word of caution. I would find out as much as you can about this place quickly. I fear we will need to depart as suddenly as we arrived.
Despite her saying that, though, we are actually going to be here for quite a little while. This part of the game admittedly starts off a little bit slowly, and it takes a bit of time. So, yeah, just a word of warning. I personally like it. I think it's interesting, but it does take a little while.
You may wish to extend your search to some clothes, if only for proper first impressions.
Well, that might be nice. We're kind of just wearing underwear right now. Let's see if she knows anything about those sedatives that killed the people in the Kolto tanks.
I do not know. Why did they spare you?
Well, I don't think they did. They administered that stuff to us too, but we survived.
Indeed, a Jedi trance could protect one from such poisons. In fact, the sedatives may have been intended to keep you unconscious for some time. It would prove lethal to those untrained in such techniques, however. Most curious. And so do you. Perhaps we could discuss it at length later on. Now we have other concerns, among them finding our new enemy.
Yeah, just who is this enemy anyway?
I leave you to the explorations of this place. Here I will remain and attempt to center myself.
Alright. And we got light side points. Yay! We are going to go light side. If you guys know me, you guys know that I just can't play as a dark side character. I mean, it's just not in my nature. I actually tried doing that during my practice run of this section. Yeah, I was going to start off dark side and everything, but I was like, nah. That being said, though, this game is a bit more morally ambiguous than the first one, and the choices are a little more complicated. So even though I say I'm going light side, there may be some opportunities to be a little more nuanced about it. So we need to recover the Ebon Hawk and escape as soon as possible. We got a little bit of an update here about meeting Kreia, who said that the Harbinger got attacked. We don't know how we got off, though. And we got this Medical Bay Murders mission. We need to find out who was behind that. So, we got a lot of stuff we need to find out here. And we got our first steps toward the light side. I'm just getting this achievement now, only because I started off on the dark side, like I said, when I first played this here. And as this statement here says, if we do heroic acts and we respond kindly to people, we will get further down the light path. But the more cruel responses and self-centered actions will try getting us more toward the dark side. So, better be careful. Probably going to play a more mixed character here. Let's see what's through this door. Oh, wait a minute here. We need to equip the plasma torch we found. Let's go ahead and do that. We don't have anything else, so... There we go. We bashed the door open. And, whoa, more bodies. Vibro Cutter. Okay. Vibro Cutter is a melee weapon, so I think that might come in handy. Let's actually just use that instead of the plasma torch. I think that's going to be a little bit of a better weapon here. And look at the stats on that. Let's look around. What do we have here? Broken droid? Ooh, we got droid stuffs. Interesting. So what's through here?
Emergency lockdown.
Oh.
Turbolifts have been sealed to contain the explosion.
We can see over here on the map that there was something on the other side, but sadly we can't actually get through, so that's a bummer. Let's see, nothing else here to see. Let's move on. Whoa, okay, we got some droids. You guys know I love flurrying here. Thankfully, these droids are pretty easy to defeat. But we've taken some damage. I'm going to use a med pack here to heal myself. Let's loot the remains. Ooh, and we got a skull there. I mean, look at that. At least I think that's a skull. It's definitely a body. And it doesn't look like it's alive. So that's pretty much all we need to know, I think. Ooh, more. Alright. Thankfully these droids aren't exactly that difficult to destroy. We just need to make sure we get in quick and cut them down before they do significant damage, just because we don't have many vitality points at this point. And we got another broken droid here with a neural pacifier. Interesting. Emergency hatch.
This is the exit, but it is sealed. Strange. In my visions, it was open.
Whoa. Are you in my head again? Oh. It is odd that this emergency hatch hasn't opened, considering the circumstances. There may be a way to open it if you could get it to an access terminal. It is kind of strange, considering that this place is in an emergency state. You'd think that the emergency exit would open up so we can all get out of here, but sadly it seems like we can't. Security desk. Okay, maybe we'll get some answers here. Security tunneler. I'm sure that'll come in handy. Alright, I guess that's to get in here if you didn't have a high enough security. Whoops, is that the only locker? I think it is. Okay. Let's use this and see if we can get some answers here. Security records. Ooh, an orientation. Let's watch this.
Is this thing on? Alright, all hands, especially you, Corder. Listen up, because I'm not gonna say this again. The next one of you Juma heads to try and smuggle a blaster, or so help me, any sort of military-grade frag weapons into my facility is gonna take a long walk out the airlock. Why? Because in case you forgot, Peragian fuel explodes at high temperatures. That's what blasted that chunk out of Peragus 2 and created this asteroid field. So if I catch any of you with anything other than sonic charges or mining lasers, I'll burn you and your contract. Security out.
Okay. That was definitely some orientation, alright.
And according to one of the miners, it was because one of the sonic charges went off prematurely. And like before, it was one set by a mining droid. The three idiots were grouped so close to the charge, it might as well have been a grenade going off. The blast turned their bones to dust. The blast wrecked the internal components of the droid that set the charge, though, so we can't even dissect it to see what happened. I don't like what's going on here. Ever since that Jedi showed up, things are getting worse. It's not just Corda and his miners, or the fights, but now the droids are acting crazy. If we don't find what's causing this, or who, this facility's gonna be space dust by the time the next Telos freighter arrives.
I think we're getting pretty close to that.
So, you're in maintenance. Then maybe you can tell me what's going on with these droids.
Sir, I don't know. It's like their behavior cores are undergoing binary decay, but I can't find the source. This shouldn't be happening.
Well, that's reassuring. It isn't happening. So the next time we nearly have a breach in the ventilation tunnels, I could just close my eyes and pretend it's my imagination. You better give me some answers. I want to know the damage these droids can do if they start mining us instead of asteroid rock.
Sir, these droids aren't combat models. Their mining lasers are weaker and less accurate than blasters. I doubt those droids could even hit one of us.
Are you blind? What about the miners in Medbay? It's sabotage, and it started right after the commander said we weren't going to sell the Jedi to the exchange. So I want you to find out how these droids are being sabotaged. That'll tell me who's trying to clear a path to get that Jedi off the facility, and stop him. In the meantime, make sure the security's armed with all the ion and sonic charges you can find. If those droids start coming after me, I'm gonna need more than low-grade mining lasers to take them down. Clear?
Yes, sir. Maintenance control out.
Idiot.
Exchange, huh? We haven't heard that name in a while. You might recall that the Exchange was the kind of crime syndicate type organization that had a bit of a presence in the first game. And it seems like some of the folks here wanted to sell us to the Exchange, which is rather interesting.
I installed an override switch to shut down any droids on this level, just in case someone locks me out of the administration console. As added insurance, I tied the override switch into the circuit to the holding cell door. It'll make sure it can only be opened if all droids in the level are shut down. I doubt Corda or any of his men have the skill to pull off something like this, but I'm not taking any chances while we're sitting in the middle of this asteroid minefield. Whoever's responsible won't be able to have the droids rescue him after I lock him up. Nothing will cut through that door. He'll be trapped.
Wonder who's in there.
I secured the stealth field generator inside one of the footlockers in the security storage room. If I have the specs right, the interface field should be effective against the droid's sensors. All I need to do is equip the belt, and some skill with stealth in order to use it. As long as I don't get too close to the droids, they shouldn't detect me. If any more droids start malfunctioning, the belt should buy me enough time to get to the override switch I set up in the communications blister console. I'd rather shut them down than destroy them. I want to find out how these droids are being sabotaged, maybe even turn them against whoever's sabotaging them.
Interesting. Alright, that was all that. So let's see the camera here. There's where we are right now. There's the storage room that we just heard about. The communications blister that he mentioned. The holding cell, we can see someone who kind of looks like a young Han Solo in there. There's that emergency hatch that we weren't able to go through. So yeah, looks like that's pretty much all we can do there for now. So we have no real choice but to go through this door.
Be careful. There is much energy in the room beyond, yet it stems from nothing that lives.
So probably droids.
Can you not sense them? Reach out. Cast aside your sight. Cast aside what you see, and instead reach out with your perceptions.
There they are.
Ah, you can feel them. The droids you cannot perceive, but the small oscillations of energy, that you can feel, echoing outwards.
Something like that. With Krea's help, you have gained the passive precognition power. When this power is triggered, you should save your game. Thankfully, this next room isn't going to be too difficult, so I won't really worry about saving my game here. And there's only 3 droids, so it shouldn't be too hard. Oops, we missed. There we go.
You hear it. It is faint, but it is there.
Let's see here.
It is the Force, you feel. It has not been so long as for you to forget.
But it doesn't really exactly feel the same, though.
Do not turn away from it. Listen. Feel it echoing within you. Come. I shall guide you down the familiar paths. You will need it if we are to survive and escape this place.
Gaining experience will slowly re-establish your connection to the Force. Go to the level up screen to choose your Force abilities. And we've leveled up. Alright. Sweet! So let us go and level up first before we do anything else. You've been granted the following feats this level. Force Sensitive and Unarmed Specialist 1. This is a nice ability that this game introduces. Basically, it gives you some powers. Well, not exactly powers, but it gives you some strength if you don't have any weapons. Let's see, let's up our skills here. I'm going to go for more security. I have a feeling we're going to need some of that. And I really don't want to use stealth. 1 in persuade, because you guys know I love persuading. And 1 in computer use, why not? Okay, so powers. We haven't actually selected any Force powers yet. But here we can see quite a few, including some that weren't in the last game. One of them is Battle Meditation. This is the power that Bastila had. It's not quite as awesome as hers, but it's a really great power to have if you have a whole party with you, because it grants all this stuff. And it's pretty sweet. I really like it. But the one I do want to get for now is Burst of Speed, because I want to make sure that we can zip around if we need to and save some time here. Plus, if we continue leveling up, we'll gain an extra attack per turn, which is really neat. So let's go ahead and unlock this footlocker. We got that stealth field generator that we heard about. I'm actually going to equip that just in case we need to use it. In fact, I don't think we actually have stealth right now, but if we actually do need to use it eventually, I'm going to make sure we get at least 1 stealth point. Okay, don't think we have anything else here. Yes, okay, so let's continue onward. And see what is through this door. Ooh. Nice big room. Oh, whoa, okay. I'm glad we got some dodging skill. That is nice. Perfect, alright. These guys don't really have too many hit points. There we go. Alright, that is good news. And there's that holding cell that we heard about.
Beyond this door, someone yet lives. Be mindful. His thoughts are difficult to read.
And he's scratching his head.
But you have nothing to fear from this one. And he might yet prove useful.
So Krea's kind of functioning as an Obi-Wan here. She's training us and saying things in our head. Basically guiding us to learn more about the Force. So that's pretty cool. Let's check out this room though. We got some more droids we need to take care of, so I'm going to make sure we cut them down first before we do anything else. I'm assuming this is not going to work. Nope. Nothing. You know what, I'm going to activate my speed. And thankfully, we can turn off the kind of motion blur effect that the burst of speed gives you. So it makes the game a lot more bearable to see in a video. I made sure to turn that off before starting the game. Alright, so we got everything we need here. I think that's all we can do there, though. No doors. And there should be one last droid. There you are. There you go, perfect. And we got a huge area here with some stuff. And whoa, we got another one. I thought we were done. Perfect, alright. I'm just making sure the map is all filled out here. Not to mention making sure that we get all the stuff in these containers, since it doesn't seem like anyone's around to really make use of any of this stuff, so might as well just go ahead and take it. Alright, is that everyone? I think we've secured this room, so let's go ahead and use the console over here. Administration computer. Peragus communications control. Emergency lockdown. Enter code to cancel lockdown. Well, unfortunately, we don't really have a code. So let's see. Look for the control override switch. And we found it, so let's activate it. And it looks like we can go through the holding cell door now. So that's good. Let's run over there real quick. We can visit the guy inside, see what he wants, what he's doing here. Hey, man.
Nice outfit. What, you miners change regulation uniform while I've been in here?
It's really funny, if you're a female, he's gonna try flirting with you, but here he just kinda, makes fun of your underwear.
Atten Rand. Excuse me if I don't shake hands. The field only causes mild electrical burns.
So this is Atten. He is trapped inside the force field.
Security claimed I violated some trumped-up regulation or another. Take it up with them if you want. But they stopped listening to me shortly before they stopped feeding me. Now that's criminal.
They are not feeding you? That is criminal. So what is this place exactly? What's been going on here?
Oh, you mean you didn't come here on purpose? I'm shocked. I really am. This slice of paradise is the Peragus mining facility. The only supplier of shipping-grade engine fuel to this corner of the galaxy. Peragus fuel plays havoc with engines, but it gets the job done. As long as you don't mind the toxic byproducts and trying to mine it without blowing yourself up.
Blowing yourself up? Does that have to do with that flammability we heard about?
Yeah, this asteroid belt is one giant minefield.
Oh.
One proton torpedo, even a stray blaster shot, can start an explosion that'll make the one that shattered Peragus 2 look like a kid's pop detonator.
So Peragus 2 was the planet that used to be here, right?
You know the planet with the exposed core you saw flying in?
Yeah.
That hole was caused by the first mining station that tried to siphon fuel off the planet. Blew a whole chunk out of the planet and set it drifting out here in a big clump of fuel-cooled asteroids. So the miners drill the asteroids now, not the planet's surface. That's why they don't allow blasters here. Can't trust a miner jumped up on Juma juice not to fire one stray shot that'll turn the entire colony into a thermal detonator.
Well, that makes sense. What happened here, though?
You mean before or after that Jedi showed up? Either way, it's a real short story. You see, this Jedi shows up, and you know what that means. Where there's one Jedi, the Republic will soon be crawling up your ion engine in no time. But the story gets better. See, some of the miners get it into their ferrocrete skulls that since the Jedi's unconscious, they can collect the bounty the exchange has posted for live Jedi. Well, what passes for the law here didn't like that idea. So the two groups started fighting.
Then there was some big explosion, and then I was sitting here for a long time, waiting for some half-naked miner to show up and ask a bunch of questions.
Interesting. We probably shouldn't tell him that we're a Jedi. I don't know if we should trust this guy quite yet, but let's find out more about this bounty.
Don't know much about it. Maybe the exchange wants one as a trophy, or somebody's got something against Jedi and is looking to collect. Not many Jedi left. Wouldn't surprise me if the bounty's pretty high.
Maybe someone wants to add some lightsabers to their collection.
The ones that weren't killed in the Jedi Civil War ended up switching off the lightsabers long ago. Word is there's not even a Jedi Council anymore, but who knows?
No Jedi Council? A war between Jedi. Was this the war that we heard about in the first game?
Yeah, Revan, Malak, and the Jedi that went to join them in the Mandalorian Wars.
Yeah, that one.
They turned against the other Jedi and had a scrap that almost laid waste to the galaxy. Where have you been?
So, we're not, of course, playing as Revan like we did in the first game. But we don't exactly know what our character knows about that. And interestingly enough, no matter what happens at the end of the first game, it seems like it doesn't really have much of an impact on this apparent purge of Jedi that's been going on around here. So, let's ask some questions here.
Well, I wasn't there, but like all Sith, Revan and Malak turned on each other. After they turned on the Jedi, of course.
So, I'm going to actually just kind of set in stone the path that Revan took in our playthrough of the first game. And that is this option. Revan saved the Jedi and the Republic.
I guess. There's rumors all over space about it. All I heard was Revan returned to pay Malik back for trying to kill her in the first place. You know, women.
And also you can set Revan's gender here too.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I just hoped Revan was a woman. Look, no offense or anything, but your weird half-naked interrogation isn't my idea. Hey, wait a minute. You're that Jedi the miners were talking about.
Oh, snap.
Where is everybody?
Well, I don't know. I just woke up, man.
The miners can't all be gone. But if they are... Look, hey, let me out and I can help you. I can. I've gotten out of trouble countless times.
Okay, like I said, I don't know if I can still trust you, but at least you're not eager to sell me to the exchange yet. So, let's see what he has in mind.
This facility isn't a military installation, which means we may have a chance. You shut down this cell security field and I can reroute the emergency system so we can get to the hangars. We grab a ship and then we fly out of here.
That sounds easy enough. Let's ask him about the lethal dose of sedatives that we saw all those patients administered with.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Doesn't seem like he knows anything, though. I guess that makes sense. He's been trapped here all this time.
So you done interrogating me, or are we gonna work together and try to get out of this mess?
Oh, we're done. Let's see here.
No deal. If I'm not leaving, you're not leaving.
Oh, whoops. I'll let you out. I don't know exactly how he did that,
Right.
but...
Now to business. Let's get to the command console.
Let's go. I see this game still has retained the awkward movements of the original.
Alright, here we are. Now this console is set on automatic hail. You may have heard it when you came in. The asteroid drift charts are constantly being updated, so it sends out a transmission to incoming vessels so they don't get crushed into space dust. The hail warns them to keep their distance until orbital drift charts are transmitted, and then provides docking instructions to incoming ships, usually freighters. Thing is, you can bounce that same transmission back to the comm here, and suddenly you've got access to the communication system from the inside.
Ah.
Pure Pazak. The console's ours. Now, all we need to do is reactivate the turbo lifts, cancel the emergency lockdown, and hey!
What's happening?
This system's been severed from the main hub, after it was locked down from remote. You can't even reroute the system, it's been cut clean.
Uh-oh.
No. Someone tried to lock down this whole level tight, and leave us here. Trapped.
Interesting. So as you've been noticing here, there are some conversation options that you can get that aren't persuade as a result of other skills like repair. So that's an interesting and really welcome touch, I think.
I doubt it. All we have is communications back. For all the good trying to shout in a vacuum will do us.
Oh. Can we contact the miners if there are any still alive?
We could try. But if the miners were trying to trap you up here and probably kill you, why not call them and chat?
Oh,
I don't think a friendly call is going to wake them up.
that's a good point.
Be my guest. Not much else we can do. The comm's all yours.
Alright, got a new journal entry here. And we can read a little bit more about galactic history here. There's a bonus mission that encourages us to talk more to Kreia after we're done here. So we'll do that here in the future. But let's check out this computer again. Comm system this time. Dormitories, no response. Let's check this hangar bay. As you access hangar bay 25, there's a series of low-pitched whistles and beeps. It sounds as if there's a utility droid on the other end. T3! Dwoo! Deet! Beep! Be-weep! Be-deep! I like reading the text down there. Let's see. Let's see if he can help us get out of here. Do-reap! Be-weep! Let's see if he can find some emergency hatches. Be-deet? Do-beep! Let's see here. Well, it's a little bit better than just sticking around, and who knows what's going to happen here next, so let's take the chance. Dwoo. And now we cut away to play as T3. And we'll do that next time. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this episode, be sure to hit the like button, and I will catch you on the flip side. So take care, and I will see you then.